We can also add a little bit of distortion if we want the vocals to pop a little bit more up front. Hi, welcome. A while back I did a video on how we can create a fire beat using just stock instruments in Logic Pro. And it's very underrated these days, the stock instruments that comes with the music applications. It may be Bitwig Studio, Logic Pro, Studio One, Cubase. They all come with very sweet packages of sounds. Though, of course, I'm biased towards Logic Pro because I'm very accustomed to the sounds, and I really like both the plugins and the sound packages with loops and instruments that comes with Logic Pro. So today we're going to continue on our previous episode, if you recall the melody from last time. So we're going to use this melody and evolve this into a song. And we're going to try to use stock instruments of Logic Pro. And I'm going to try to throw in some vocals into the track. So let's take the tour. So here we are. Will you send me an angel? Right, so if you recall from last time, we recorded 4 different variations of harmonic background to a melody. So that's the first one, second one. The third one. And the fourth. Right, so let's see what we can do with these. So I've pre-selected a few different instruments. The chef always prepares. So we have a pad here, which you can find if you press Y in Logic Pro. Go into the pads category, the synth pads and the breathy Vox pad. And we're going to record some chords. So we're going to select the track, press K to activate the metronome and fire away. Next up, we'll select the MIDI region and press Command R to duplicate. Next up, we need some drums, so let's go into electronic drum kits and the analog haze kit. So let's layer something tasty on top of the breathy Vox. Alrighty, and then we can press Q to quantize these. Next in line, we're gonna find some hi-hats, but I usually layer these on a separate track so we can get more control and maybe variate these across the track. So we're using the same drum kit, just select your analog haze drum kit, press Command D, and we're gonna duplicate that into a separate track like that. With the hi-hats I'm doing accents on the offbeats, so we get a little bouncy kind of rhythm. Like so. Press Command R and we're going to repeat that. Maybe add some delays on that. Just a little bit, a tad. And now let's record some vocals on top of this, the melody. And we have a lyric here generated by ChatGPT. The night is loud, but I'm lost inside a tidal wave of a fading tide. I reach for stars, but they slip away. Still I'll fight to feel you stay. Yeah, lovely. So on the audio track for the vocals, we have a channel EQ with a dip around 300 to 400 Hz, 350 Hz, minus 3.5 dB. Just to get rid of a little bit of boxiness. And then a high-pass filter, so we don't have any rumble. There's a lot of rumble here in this room, especially in the really, really low sub frequencies. because I have this ventilation in the cut window. And on the vocals, we're going to have some simple compressions. Let's use the stock compressor, but we're going to change the auto gain from -12 to just 0 dB and just a little bump to 3 dB. And we can also add a little bit of distortion if we want the vocals to pop a little bit more up front. And also activate the limiter. And the ratio is quite balanced, around 4:1 ratio. So let's try that, and then we have 2 buzzes, one buzz with the chroma verb, halls, long vocal hall, and then there's a send to a delay to the simple stereo delay with 8 dotted and quarter notes. Before singing, we need to do a little bit of warm-up. Va, viva, viva, viva. Sample that. So let's try this. The night is loud, but I'm lost inside a tidal wave of a fading tide. I reach for stars, but it slip away. Still I fight to see you stay. Broken pieces in a silent storm. Scattered dreams where our hearts were torn. But in the dark, I hear you call. Through the chaos, we undo it all. Yeah, so how much did that suck? Let me know in the comments. Yes, we can hear that the vocals and the pads, the background is fighting a little bit. So maybe we can make use of the arrangement ideas that we got from the previous episode. So maybe add some rhythm here to the pads, so we can get them away from the vocals. Maybe also filter them a little bit. So let's add the auto filter from Logic, and we can reduce the envelope and introduce the LFO instead and make it sawtooth LFO. Also increase the rate to 8 notes. And we can decrease around the 250 to 400 hertz area also on the pad. And let's listen with the vocals. The night is loud, but I'm lost inside a tidal wave of a fading tide. I reach for stars, but it slip away. Still I fight to see you stay. Broken pieces in a silent storm. Scattered dreams where our hearts were torn. But in the dark, I hear you call. Through the chaos, we undo it all. Yeah, so now it's much better against the vocals. So now I'm gonna add a little fill here in the turnaround of the chords. Or something like that. To see you stay. Broken pieces in a silent storm. Scattered dreams where our hearts were torn. But in the dark, I hear you call. Through the chaos, we undo it all. Yeah, so a little bit of sparkling fills here and there to fill in the spaces at the end of the vocal phrases. To see you stay. Broken pieces in a silent storm. Scattered dreams where our hearts were torn. But in the dark, I hear you call. Through the chaos, we undo it all. Yeah, so now we have a quick EDM starter track here. So let's listen from the top and call it a day. The night is loud, but I'm lost inside a tidal wave of a fading tide. I reach for stars, but it slip away. Still I fight to see you stay. Broken pieces in a silent storm. Scattered dreams where our hearts were torn. But in the dark, I hear you call. Through the chaos, we undo it all. Right, so I hope you got some ideas from this little arrangement here today. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so that you get the notice as soon as I drop new videos. Okay, so finally, if you like my content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing as a Patreon or a YouTube membership. And that way you support all these video creations, and you also get some perks like early access to videos and behind the scenes shots. and you also get some free music. Okay, so that's all for today. My name is Mattias. See you in the next one. Bye!